Taylor Mannix here at Big Time University, and we are on campus at the University of Maine in Farmington. Brady King and I made the trip up. We're going to catch up with Defensive Player of the Year from the NAC, Jessica Dow, Nate Carson, the head coach of the women's basketball team up here on campus. And on the men's side, we'll talk to Mclaughlin, NAC Player of the Year, and Jason Reynolds as well joined us along with Coach Quinn Newton as we cover all things from a historic season up here in Farmington. It was a pleasure to cover them. We dove a lot more deep into it today, so stay tuned and enjoy the coverage from the University of Maine at Farmington. Taylor Mannix here of Big Time University. We're on campus in Farmington right now, and in front of me to the left, Jessica Dow, and of course, Nate Carson, head coach of the University of Maine Farmington women's basketball team. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for giving Brady and I some time to come up here on campus and sit down and talk with you guys about a fantastic season.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, and Jessica, we'll start with you. Defensive Player of the Year, 3 steals a game this year for you. I mean, I'm sure it was just a nightmare to prepare for other teams when they had to come into this gym and have to play offense against you. Tell me a little bit about your mindset every time you step on the floor defensively.
I think every game was just, anticipate every possession and just really put my all out there defensively. I mean, defense always translates to offense, and that's my mindset every game. Just going in, knowing that I can make a difference if I'm not producing offensively, and knowing defensively I can always help.
Well, I'm looking at you guys as a team. You forced more turnovers than anyone in the conference. How much pride did you take in that this year?
I think it's awesome. I mean, it just shows how much of a team and how much more of an intensity level we went up this year for defense-wise, and I just think it's amazing to see how well of a defensive team we've become and very dangerous for next year.
Well, and on the other side of the floor, too, led the team in assists, second in scoring, rebounded as well at a very high level. Tell me a little bit about the offensive game for you and how that's come throughout your college career.
I think just my confidence level has only grown since I've been here, and I think that's a huge thing for me. And getting those steals, getting those layups, getting those in-ones was just such a good boost for me. So I think that was huge as far as my offensive side.
We were talking about a little bit before, one of the games that stood out, especially for us at Big Time when we were covering you guys this year. Husson game is one I noted, 24 points, 6 steals. Tell me a little bit about a performance like that, and especially against Husson, who in your conference in the NAC is one of the more proud programs.
I think going into that game, I knew I had to step up. I think defensively, that game was just huge for me. I think as far as scoring-wise, too, I mean, Husson's a good team. You got to go in strong, rebound, get everything into that game. So I think that game was huge for me, and I capitalized on it. So. Well,
and I think now we'll bring in Coach Carson a little bit on that note. When you see that game from a player like Jessica, it doesn't surprise you. I'm sure this is the expectation, but when you see her raise her game to that, what does it mean for you and especially for the team? Because it feels like when she's playing like that, everybody else is kind of following.
Yeah, it's super gratifying. It's super validating for her. I mean, she's taken a step each year, and then to see just all that success that poured out at the end of the season, that's her hard work, and that's our team's hard work the entire time, and just getting to play as well as we could at the right moment in the season. And then to do it, kind of take the long road, hard road to get there, have Linden at home, go up to Husson, get them on their home court, and then go get MMA there. Didn't make it easy on ourselves, but it was it was personally validating, like all the good work that we put in, and just thinking, when is it going to happen? I'd say maybe we're even a year early, but then also. For them, I mean, they're a great group. They're great to each other. We have excellent practices. We had, into the New York stretch, we had 75 total practices this year, and only 3 of them were ones that I wasn't happy with, So effort was there all year long. Focus was there all year long, and just very pleased with how it all ended and how it ended for the girls and the coaches.
And you look at this group, I mean, we talked about it with Jess, right, the turnovers that you guys created. How would you define the identity of your group this year?
Oh, we're certainly a defensive team, 100%. I mean, we have terrific athletes all over the court who can do a few different things defensively. Right, Jess kind of being the star in that. She's so versatile. We can deploy her in so many different ways. Like, we had her on Husson's best player in the regular season, Sage Evans.
Yeah, very talented.
We get very good player. We got comfortable putting one of our captains, Sarah Polai, on her, and we put Jess on the point guard, and 6 steals. I mean, she just enveloped their guards, passing around her. Anytime they'd pick up, Jess would swarm, get chest to chest with them. Our other players, who are stars in their roles, also bought into that physicality of, if there's a handoff, if there's a pick and roll, that you're not going over it, right? We're going to stop you here. We're going to flood the lanes, and you're not going to get to play your offense. So that's certainly who we are as a team, a defensive team. A lot of our points come off of our defense. Outside of that, scoring the ball was sort of a struggle for us. We do so much to get the ball to the hoop. We do the same thing 10 different ways, just to get the same type of looks for Jess, Jay, and our other players who play down in that area and then try to play out of it. But certainly defensive identity was who we are all year.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at that NAC run, I mean, you guys controlled games throughout that tournament, and obviously go on the road to Castine against Coach Dagan, Evelyn. I mean, that is a great MMA team, and really, I mean, one of the pristine teams like a Husson. Tell me about that run, and especially going into Castine for you, Coach, and then I'd love to hear from you too, Jessica, and what it meant to get that done.
Really special.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I still sort of processing it. You win and you get the NYU treatment, and that is its whole thing. So,
yeah, we can get into that for sure.
Right. But incredibly special. I mean, that last week of practice we had from Linden, I guess 2 weeks of practice we had from Linden all the way to Maine Maritime, we were a team I hadn't seen in a while. We entered a lull somewhere late in the second, or somewhere in the second semester, and we're able to get back to our identity, and then go to Coach Dagan, go to MMA. Having that victory over them in early in the second semester was a huge confidence boost. See that we can do it. And we were just so prepared. Defensively, I kind of brought it to them like, hey, do we want to let them run their stuff, or do we want to blow it up and play our game? We decided to do that. Offensively, we were steady for 4 quarters. I think there was maybe a minute or two stretch in the third where we started to kind of turn sideways a little bit, and then we corrected and kind of held the game together for the rest of it. So tremendously proud, obviously, and then just so happy for these guys and our seniors who were here in the darkest of days. For them to be a part of this transformation, I'm so incredibly happy for them as well.
I think going in the MMA game, we all thought about the first time we beat them at their home court earlier in that season, and I think that just was in all of us going into that game. All of us knew that we all had a role, and we all had to do something that game to get that win. We knew it was going to be a game of runs, but we luckily led most of that game, and I just think it was huge to show how much we can do, and going forward, we have a great title for our name.
That's right, and I mean, what are you going to remember most for you, Jessica, about this season?
Oh gosh, I think just after the game, seeing everyone was one of the best memories, holding up that trophy. I think it's definitely just such great motivation to just stay pretty humble for next year and only think of doing better.
I was going to say a game like that, and especially moving on to kind of talking a little bit about this tournament experience that you guys had, I'm sure that made you more hungry. Yeah. And I'll ask you, and you can hand it to Coach Carson too, because I think it's important. Like, one thing I know that I've been telling Brady, we've been talking about at Big Time a little bit, is that going up against an NYU team, it feels like was an opportunity, because that doesn't define the season that you guys had. And how did you approach that? Because obviously, I mean, they are what they are, and we saw that. They had to go play Scranton, obviously, and Scranton did their thing, who also knocked off Bates. But, I mean, you talk about 2 premier programs, but I feel like, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like it was a real good opportunity for this program, especially knowing, as you point out, there's next year on the horizon.
I think, when we all first found out about NYU, we were just stunned, but at the same time, it's like...
How much of a reward for winning a conference, right?
I think just going into it, knowing that, that's what you look for. It's the number 1 seed. That's what you always want to look at. And I think it was such a great opportunity going there. We were treated very well there. And I think just...
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Reminded me to feed my dog. Hopefully my wife is taking care about that. Sorry about that.
I think just watching that team is just such a great team to look at as far as what we want to look like. I think just how strong and great of a team they were, I think was awesome. So I think it was a great opportunity for the team and just honestly a reward for all of what we did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we did the show, right? The selection show,
Right.
and it starts the team in Division III, NYU, will play UMaine Farmington, and you know, there's obviously a ton of excitement, and then just like kind of like the air goes out of the room for a second. It's like the team in D3, and they are, you know, they didn't get as far as they want to. I think if they played any of those opponents, you know, 10 times they'd win their fair share, no doubt.
Sure.
And it was great exposure for us, for the team, just how high of a level of competition D3 can reach. You mentioned Scranton a little bit ago. They won an exhibition game against a D1 school early on in the season. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
University of
Unbelievable.
Pitt, you know, so
Pitt,
it's
wow. Jeez,
it's
good
no
for them.
joke.
No,
Yeah,
they
I
are.
mean,
That's legit.
so right, and you know, the Bates just down the road is as good of a team that Division III can put out too, and you know, be competitive with a program like that. So just like the levels and variances of programs across D3 was really cool, and then I mean the Coach Barr has those kids playing so hard and so together. Offensively, there was no beat skipped, you know, from one set of hands to the next. Defensively, very well disciplined, and you know, we're trying to hold together. We're trying to keep, you know, our heads up and maintain ourselves through what we're going through. But also, as I'm watching it, there's just so many things that I could take back to these guys back here in Farmington, and you know, try to have us improve on as well.
Yeah, and that's exciting. Again, as you mentioned, that opportunity, and I know you have roots here. How has that connection to Farmington that you've had, and being able to have this opportunity to take it to the national stage with this women's team, how has that shaped you as a coach so far, especially this year? It feels like, I mean, this was got to be a special year for you, Coach.
It's really, yeah, it's tremendous. It's very unique, right? And I think any sort of basketball coaching Cinderella story or, you know, fairy tale story always kind of has the player going back to where he played to coach.
Sure.
You know, I never left. I got done and had no idea what I wanted to do. Was lucky enough to have Coach Meter let me on the staff, and then, you know, when Jamie moved into the AD spot, slid over into this role. You know, as an alumni, can't be more proud of these kids. You know, it's something that I've never achieved outside of this past season, you know, as a player or as a coach on the men's side. So, and even to the men, you know, so incredibly proud of those guys, because for what they did matters a lot to me as well. In terms of shaping me, it just kind of feels, it still kind of feels surreal. You know, I don't know how to put it well, but it seems like we're a little bit ahead of the curve, which presents its own challenges too. But you know, very proud, and to do it with our coaches, Coach Carroll and Coach Bessie, who was an assistant when I played, also was an assistant under Coach Meter. So we coached together, and the relationship that we have. So very excited for him to be a part of that as well. And then, you know, also, you know, Coach Meter was one of our first thoughts. Coach Kane at a Presque Isle texted me immediately, said, "Very proud of you. Dick would be very proud of you."
Yeah.
So very unique and very, very blessed and proud of what we've done so far.
Jessica, for you now, being a part of this and having your own piece of this history, what have you learned about the culture, and how has the community embraced you here? Because I know just coming onto campus, it's a beautiful day, 65 degrees out. I mean, it's just such a welcoming and humble place to be, like it really is when you come on out. Brady and I came on with smiles. I mean, everyone seems so friendly and kind. So tell me how it feels for you now to have your mark, at least, and it's not finished yet, I know. You still have a little bit more time left to continue to make your mark, but I mean, already having that established here from last year, how does that feel for you?
I just think it's awesome. I mean, even when I committed here, it was just so welcoming everywhere you went here. I mean, everyone says hi, and honestly, a lot of people know your name on this campus, which is pretty cool. So I think right after we won the NAC, I went to classes the next week, and all my professors said, "Great job!" And so that feels good. It's awesome. So I think having a small campus is awesome in that sense, and having the community support you in that way. I mean, not even professors, people just from the community reaching out and saying congratulations and everything like that is just awesome. So it's a very supportive community.
What's it like for someone who hasn't been here for a home? We're in the gym right now, for those who can't tell. What's it like on a home game here?
I mean, on a home game where we're before and then men are after, I mean, the whole students come out, which is awesome, I think. And honestly, we're grateful for our players and their families because, I mean, I don't think a lot of them missed a game. So I think that's awesome. I mean, even travel games. So, but for home games, a good crowd coach shows up, and I think it's just awesome that the community comes together.
What's something for you heading into next season that you're looking to improve in your game?
I think I can always improve offensively and defensively. I think just bringing it up another gear, being confident in the low post, shooting the three ball a little better, just overall offensively and then defensively, making it even harder for players.
I don't know if it can get much harder, Jessica, just saying, like from my as well. And coach, to kind of build off that for next year, I mean, thoughts for you. How do you sustain now success here at UMF now that at least you've tasted it?
Yeah. Well, our coaching staff has done a great job getting good players in. So we've always been heading in the right direction, right? It's just how do we keep trending upward? It's a new challenge as a young coach, as a relatively new coach. What do you do after success? And at some point you need to turn the celebration off and kind of restart. Yes, we're very similar in what we're bringing back next year, but we're not the same. So hopefully the challenge is to get us back to a baseline where we still need to improve and don't feel like we've done it. So what's going to happen again? So avoiding that trap is my main focus right now, and that we still are taking our time to get better as players and always working towards that.
Yeah, and I love how you say it's a trap, right? Because consistency is so key, and complacency can come with success, right? So appreciate you guys giving us your time. I mean, hey, I'm looking forward to next year when we can come up and cover some more UMF games. We're very excited for what you guys bring. Again, Jessica Dow, Coach Nate Carson, thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time greatly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good luck next year, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Taylor Mannix for Big Time University. Stay tuned. We'll have the men's team as well coming up next. Again, that was Nate Carson and Jessica Dow. We'll have Jason Reynolds, Zach Mclaughlin, and, of course, head coach Quinn Newton coming on next. So stay tuned here on Big Time University. Taylor Mannix here at Big Time University. We're back on campus here at the University of Maine, Farmington. We're sitting here with Jason Reynolds and, of course, Zach Mclaughlin, both, of course, Winslow, Hamden. Many of you guys who followed us for especially the Big Time Maine scene, you know about these two boys, and they're getting it done at the next level. So welcome in, boys. Thank you guys for taking this time. It's awesome to sit down and talk to you. We've been watching all season, as you know, and it's been a fun season.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time as well.
Yeah, of course, boys.
Coming over here for us.
I know, well, and it's a nice day out, so I feel like you guys could be doing many other things. So to hang out with Brady and I, we appreciate it, man.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, all right, you guys, it's all right. Jace, we'll start with you. 50.5 rebounds per game. 449 total. I just want you to know it's not normal, right? That's an amazing feat. Where does that motor for you come from?
Yeah, so I want to give all credit to my father. He instilled this mindset in me ever since I was a little kid. He would always tell me in the rec leagues, in the travel leagues, like, every single rebound's yours. And so I've always kept that mindset, growing up, like in Winslow and now to Farmington.
Well, and you mentioned that. I mean, I'm sure that's what goes into staying consistent. 26 double-doubles in 29 games. That's part of it, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah, 100% too. Just knowing that, like, all I could do is just focusing on the next play, the next rebound, the next game, everything like that. I just take all that into consideration and just make sure I can just do the best I can on any given night.
Offensive game's great, too, 17 a game. How has that evolved for you since being in Winslow?
Yeah, definitely. Winslow is more of a lead scorer, and now I'm behind this man over here. So, but I just like I like playing that role of just being the enforcer and just being that dominant force on the glass and just making the right play at the right time.
Well, and we're going to talk to Zach here in a second. So before we get to him, I'll help a little transition here because you guys did put up historic numbers together. What makes your games complement each other?
Yeah, I would say, Zach definitely spaces the floor, not just for me, but for everybody else on the team. Definitely with his shooting ability, his ability to drive, everything, and obviously just put the ball in the hoop, to be honest. But, I feel like he really compliments me in that way because, obviously if he's taking up a lot of space on the floor, it gives me more opportunities to score myself.
Absolutely.
My other teammates. So, yeah, I would definitely have to say that's how he compliments me and the other teammates.
Yeah, and I mean, same back to him. I mean, he's grabbing the rebound on the defensive end, so I can get back on offense. Most of the time I'm leaking out. Jason's there to snag it up. I mean, he's a great spray out guy. I mean, he shoots it at a high clip, keeps it above his head. Rarely misses when he's open. Rarely misses when he's contested too. Yeah. So I think we do feed off each other very well. Very well.
Well, and we read some of his numbers. Here's some of yours: 670 points, program record. No big deal. 25 plus a night, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable to hear what you guys were doing. It's no shock that you made the run you made in the tournament, but at what point did you realize, maybe for you, that what you were doing this year was historic? Did it ever dawn on you that both of you were having the seasons you were having, or was this kind of for you business as usual? Because anybody who's watched you since you were a Bronco, and again since you were at Winslow, we knew you were both capable of it. But to see it all come together, was there a moment, maybe especially for you, Zach, where it was like, man, this is crazy?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a long season.
Right.
It's a long season, day in, day out of practices. Just for me, it was really just how can I be consistent? Like, how can I train my habits to make me a great basketball player and also be a great person off the court? Just carrying myself the right way, I'd say. It really came down to my preparation, I'd say. This year is just whether it was off the court, getting a good meal in, hydrating, on the court, it was doing whatever I can to win and be the best for the team. It was just, it all plays into all the scoring and all the accolades or whatever, but it was really just the daily processes for me, and I really saw it as business.
What do you take the most pride in as a scorer? It sounds like the hard work for you is when it starts to pay off is really what it is, right?
Yeah, no, I really take pride in my preparation. Going back to that, I really take pride in just being a leader out there, and knowing that I can score the ball at a high clip, believing in myself, and just going out there every single night with a little chip on my shoulder, just knowing, hey, I can do this. I can do this.
Well, and for you as a player, how has this season changed you at all? I mean, we talked about the evolution, right, with Jason. I mean, is there anything about you feel this year especially you've developed and become better at?
Yeah. I'd say a big thing for me this year was just like seeing what it takes to win and what it takes to be great. I mean, you have to do the top 1% things if you want to be in the top 1%. And I think Coach really instilled that in us this year. This isn't just a rest day practice, or this isn't just like an off practice. Like, this is an opportunity to get better. And really just kind of ran with that and implemented it in my game. Like, how can I always get better? What advantages can I create on the offensive end? Like, oh, this worked, I'm going to keep going to that until it doesn't. Just really reading the game and creating the advantages that I could.
Well, and you mentioned Coach. I'm interested, Jason, too, to hear from you on this next as well after Zach.
Mm-hmm.
What has it been? I mean, what's that trust like with Coach Newton? Because it seems like for both of you, I mean, it's definitely there, and you got to have trust to have success.
Coach Newton's awesome. I mean, Coach Newton's the best. I mean, younger coach, very interpersonal with us. We all get along with him very well. I mean, we're all sitting in his office in between class playing cribbage.
Oh, no way. See, I don't even play cribbage. My dad tried to get me into it, but I never got into it. A mistake, dude, right?
Big cribbage guy.
Sorry to interrupt, but who's the best cribbage player on the team? I got to know now.
Braden St. Pierre, I'll give it to him.
Braden St. Pierre?
Braden St. Pierre, I'll give it to him. No, Coach Newton's been great. Jason can talk on this too, but, I mean, he instills the utmost confidence in his guys. I mean, he really knows what he's working with. Yeah, you got anything on that?
Yeah. No, I would just have to say, definitely just developing relationships with every person on the team. He really takes pride in just developing that strong bond that, between, a coach and a player that every player would want, Another thing that, we really trust him is his preparation for games. Like, he always preaches the next play, but not only just the next play on the basketball court, but off the court as well. Whether that's the next meal, are you getting enough sleep? Are you doing well in the classroom? And I feel like those habits off the court can translate to on the court as well. So I would definitely have to say the habits that he instills in us on the court and off the court, definitely help his relationship with us.
Yeah, and I feel like obviously because of that relationship, it's led to a lot of on-court success. NAC champs, right? First time since 2010. I'd love to hear from both of you. What did that mean to get that done here in what was a very exciting game against Umpy, who was coming in trying to chase some history of their own, as I'm sure you guys know, and Mclaughlin on the other side is a scorer. So it's not like this game was easy despite what the record on your side shows. I think a lot of people might take that as, hey, you guys dominated this year, but this was a tough game. How did you guys get that done? And then what was that moment like when you were cutting down those nets here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, going into every game this season, we had the same exact mindset. We just have to do what we have to do. Every game is the same, right? Every step in the mindset, the process, the practice beforehand, everything leading up to it is the same. And we knew what we had to do, and we just had to execute. We just know that, having to prepare for every single opponent, every single opponent's the same, no matter who we play, where we play, we just know that we just had to prepare for that, and we did that well.
Yeah, I really think it came down to just the day in and day out processes, like controlling what we could control, just staying consistent. Preparation took us home. I mean, it was like any other game, the 2 tournament games. We play we played 29 games this year, so it's a lot of focus to stay in it for every single game. But when you start getting a couple wins and you get into the season, it's almost like every night's like a business trip, every game. So it just kind of felt like the consistency was there, and when we got rolling, the 2 playoff games were like any other game.
Tell me about that NCAA tournament trip. We were talking about it with Jessica Dow and Nate Carson, their trip. They had to go play NYU. You guys went to Mont St. Clair, and then, of course, you win there and you get Yeshiva. I mean, we were watching back at home. What a ride you guys had down there. And to win a game, take me through that experience of the NCAA tournament, obviously punching your ticket, but then just winning a game and being a part of one of the most historic seasons that the Beavers have ever seen.
Yeah, it was truly electric being down there. I mean, it was an experience of a lifetime. To see all the talent, watching in all the other games and just seeing who was at the tournament was like super cool to realize that, hey, we're just as good, and if not better than all these teams. We can play with any team in the country. It was a ton of fun. I can confidently say it was the most fun I ever had playing basketball.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
It was awesome.
Yeah, to add to that, it's just, I mentioned earlier that, all we can focus on is like the next play and like the next game, and like every game is the same. But, after winning a tournament, after winning a game in the NCAA tournament, like we all just felt it. It was truly something special. Like we can do this, we can compete with anybody. And that was a moment that I'll never forget. And that's a moment that I feel like it was the best moment of my basketball career so far, getting that win.
It was. I mean, I know watching it back here, seeing especially too, and I know you guys were there on scene. You had to play the team Yeshiva, but like the way Bates lost. I mean, I know I had everybody back here talking. You guys right further. You had to play Yeshiva after that, but ahead of that game, what was it like in the building when there was kind of a controversial play like that, and then you guys have to step on the floor like right after and act maybe like nothing happened? I mean, were you even tapped into that game?
Yeah, I mean, we were all watching it beforehand.
Right,
I had it up on my phone. We were all sitting in the lobby area.
And you guys don't need to comment on the necessary, whether it was a foul, but I'm interested in your thoughts when all that is going down.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, definitely like going into it, it's like, yeah, like this was controversial and everything. Like, I wonder what's going to happen in our game, you know what I mean? But, I mean, obviously, hats off to Bates and Yeshiva, of course, for an amazing game. And yeah, obviously to prepare for that as well, NCAA tournament game, anything can happen.
I mean, we saw that yesterday for those of us who watched the tournament with the Elite Eight, man. I mean, Mullins, the kid from UConn, that was an incredible shot. Right?
Narnia, huh?
It's just unbelievable, dude.
Pulled it.
So, I mean, well, and you guys, again, being able to have the experience, what has it been like here on campus to be a part of this community and especially give back in the way you have now in terms of the success? Because you've given these people a lot to cheer about. How have they been to you guys here on campus in Farmington?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, we couldn't have done it without the Farmington community, though.
Definitely felt the love.
Yeah.
Definitely felt the love.
I mean, especially playing a lot of our home games here, and especially the ones during the playoffs. You know, the crowd really plays a big part in our success. You know, we feel like we have the best atmosphere. We have the best atmosphere in Maine in terms of, you know, crowd support. And so, especially when we can get the whole town of Farmington to come out for a game and have some fun, you know, who wouldn't?
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, a lot of those guys are our friends. They show up and they take the time out of their day to come watch us play. So it's like, all right, let's go. Like, let's do it for them type of deal too. So to get rewarded and have success this year, it was great to reflect and celebrate back with the same people who were there supporting us when we were here and not in New Jersey going to win tournament games.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I think it's the Beaver Dam they call it up here, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The Beaver Dam. Dude, that's
Beaver
awesome.
Dam, man.
Yeah, you guys got it going on up here. It definitely is one of the better
Oh, it rocks around here,
venues
man.
up here.
It rocks
Absolutely.
around here.
Yeah, I know. Brady's had a couple opportunities up here. He's smiling back there. He had a good time. Well, hey, let's finish with some fun stuff with you guys.
All right.
I guess you're gonna have to both kind of like talk into the mic when you do this. I'm interested though. We'll see because you guys are like great teammates on the floor. So I guess we'll see off the court just how much this gels together.
All right.
For both of you, give up your favorite food for a season or give up your phone for a month?
Favorite food for a season.
Ooh, okay.
It has to be give up my favorite food for this
Because
season.
and on to be fair, I was actually thinking about this one myself, and I kind of feel like you can always get like your second favorite food throughout the process if you have to lose it through the
Right.
season.
Unfortunately, that phone's got me trapped. I can't go without it. I can't go
I also
without
do really like food, so I can definitely manage with that.
Play every minute or hit the game-winning shot.
Hit the game-winning shot.
I feel like there's like a little like a fine like am I playing every minute and we still win? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because like the win.
Well, and
yeah.
technically, if you're playing every minute, you could hit the game-winning shot, right?
I'm thinking win. Win. I heard win.
Yeah.
Right, so you can
That's-
put in. Yeah,
That's
you
also,
can
that's
hit
also
it.
another good thing because yeah, I can play every minute, but we wouldn't guarantee the win though. So
See, and at least,
I guess
yeah.
I could change that. I'll probably change that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
See, if you're about the winning, hitting the game-winning shot, there you go. Yeah, I like that. Full court press or half court defense?
Half court defense.
Yeah, half court defense.
We're dogs in the half court.
Fast break or half court set?
Personally, fast break. I feel like that's where I'm.
I'm not
at
more.
my
I'm not
best.
like a fast break guy. I kind of like a half court set, to be honest with you.
Hoodie or t-shirt? I feel like I already know the answer looking at both of you.
Can I say crew neck?
Crew neck's fine. Yeah, we'll,
Crew neck works.
we'll give Jason the crew neck.
Hoodie. Nike Tech.
Nike
Maybe.
Tech. That's a good one. Good pull there.
Yeah.
Slides or sneakers?
I'm gonna say slides personally.
I mean-
too easy.
Grundens can
Yeah.
count. I got Grunden boots, and I technically slide those on.
I
So
mean, like
I've never seen
I
you in
wear my
slides.
Blundstones every single day.
Blundstones, yeah,
So,
all right, there
I
you
mean, I guess I'll go. I guess you could consider.
is
this a
Blundstone like the Central Maine version of Grundens? Because I'm an island guy, so I like lobster. You know, I used to stern, so I'm wondering, is that like because we always have the Grunden boots? So I'm wondering, is that like more like the Central Maine?
Yeah, I
boot
have
that you-
no idea. Honestly,
Yeah.
this could be like
Those are nice
just a
out
New
there.
Englander.
Honestly, it's the-
I like them with the camo pants.
Well, and I just like the high ankle, right? Keeps you safe in the winter. We know
Yeah.
snow's coming, so up here you
Right,
guys
right.
need that.
Right.
We'll move on. Well, I'll digress. Window seat or aisle seat? Because I know you guys sometimes hop on the bus trips, right?
Yeah, I would say definitely aisle, just so I can
Aisle
stick
seat?
my legs out. Yeah.
I was gonna say, right, being
Yeah.
tall.
Definitely on the way to a game, I need the aisle seat. I got to stretch my legs.
Yeah.
like
100%.
French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
I'm gonna have to go onion rings. Love onion rings.
All right, last one. This is actually one that I like a lot. Breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast?
Dinner for breakfast.
I'm weird with having not breakfast meals for breakfast, so I'm gonna have to go breakfast for dinner.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, we like it. Zach Mclaughlin, Jason Reynolds, thank you guys so much for sitting down. Congratulations too on all the success and good luck with everything moving forward, man. It's been a pleasure to talk with you guys today.
Yeah,
up here in
thank you,
Farmington.
Taylor. It's a pleasure for you to have us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your time.
Yeah,
thanks,
man. Hey, we look forward to covering more of you guys, dude. Keep kicking ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, go Beavs. Like I said, I tried to
Go
get my
Beavs.
Beaver shirt. maybe next year when I see you guys in the fall, I'll have my Beaver shirt.
Hit up Rebirthed Apparel. I think you can hook it up on Depop.
On eBay, on TikTok,
Well,
whatever.
so why don't I see? This
Go
is
get
how.
your
Why don't
clothes.
you and I get in contact after this, and I get my Beaver shirt that way?
I think it's a done deal.
think it's a done deal.
I think that works with me.
Dang, there you go.
Dang.
Taylor Mannix of Big Time University here with the boys from University of Maine Farmington. Stay tuned for more content. We got Quinn Newton coming up next. Taylor Mannix here at Big Time University, and we're with head coach Quinn Newton of the men's basketball program here at the University of Maine in Farmington. We've talked with just about everybody, so last on the docket, coach. Save the best for last, right? Of course, save the year. You and I were just talking off air, though. I mean, year 2 now, obviously year 8 coaching, but year 2 here at Farmington. Last year, you lay the foundation. Or I should say plant the seeds, right? And this year, I mean, you guys really reaped at that harvest. I mean, tell me a little bit about what went into building you guys up to be in the position you were in this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think number one, you mentioned foundation. Honestly, that's what this job really already had. From previous coaches, Coach Leo, Coach Meter, when they built it, and I was just lucky and blessed enough to walk into a situation that was already having a winning culture. I've won the league before, and going into last year, inheriting a program that had some success, had some guys that were very experienced, was crucial to my just step into the role. And then from year to year, guys leaving, guys graduating, where it may be, but having a group of guys from day one in the spring, like this time last year, where guys really bought into our vision, our mission, our values, our standards of our program. And, being a young group, it was, I wouldn't say it wasn't unexpected, but it was a group of sophomores, juniors that, we only had 3 guys that returned that had actual real life game experience. So having those guys buy in, but also, guys getting better and giving the guys a lot of credit. I can change a few things and, bring a culture mindset, but these guys bought into it since they stepped on campus and really trusted me at the end of the day, trusted our staff, more importantly. So it's been really fun just to build it and see where it's kind of gone, in just a short time frame.
Yeah, and to dive a little bit deeper into that, right? Like we're talking about taking the next step from last year. I mean, what did that actually look like here behind the scenes on campus? All that extra.
Yeah, it was really. We have 2 main goals every single year, and it's not honestly to win championships and hang banners. That's kind of comes with the results part of it, but really, can we be the most connected team in the country and most conditioned team in the country?
Right.
And I think those were 2 biggest things for this group. Again, being young, being inexperienced. 2 goals that are kind of unmeasurable, but I think 2 goals that you can control every single day. So whether it's in the locker room, in the weight room, classroom, dining hall, being the most connected team in the country is a goal for us where you see how we play. Yes, we're a super talented group, but we move the ball and we share it. And quite frankly, not to bash our guys, but we weren't the most talented team every night, to be honest with you. And I think there were some talented teams out there that didn't have that same connectivity that we did, and we reaped the benefits of it. So it was offensively, defensively. I think our guys were really bought into that. And then guys changed their bodies. That was a big challenge for us, and I can't wait to see what they do again for next year. But that was a big challenge for us going from last year to this year, where that's the biggest gap. From high school to college, guys are bigger, faster, stronger. You have less time, less space to operate in, and our guys took that as a real challenge. And it was great to see them, go from May when the guys left campus to September, Labor Day weekend, when they look different. And you see who put the time in, on the court in the weight room, and that was the building of that whole side of things, which really helped our end result at the end of the day.
Yeah, it feels like that was when the vision you're talking about really started to come into focus for you guys, right? 2020, and when we just talked to Zach and Jason, they spoke a lot about sleep, about their diet. I mean, how important is that for you as a coach? It's not maybe to implement, hey, like you're on an NBA regimen, like this is your diet, but to influence them and make them understand, hey, like your nutrition is extremely important to your success.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned vision, and our vision is to be the standard of excellence in Division III basketball. And again, that's a hard measurable goal to have or vision to have, because there's a lot of teams out there. There's 404 teams in the country, but to that standard you're talking about, whether it's sleep, diet, workout regimen, classroom, whatever it is, like if we can strive to be that standard in the country of 400 plus teams, you're going to hold yourself pretty high accountable. And I think for us, again, the steps we took as a team was that player-to-player accountability, not so much coach to player. And I think that's where, again, that connectivity piece really helped our guys to those standards of your sleep, your diet, guys getting in the gym, guys getting in the weight room, taking care of the stuff in the classroom. So I think it's where our vision kind of played into that, those habits they're building every single day.
Right, and obviously it all translates this year into an NAC championship, the first one since 2010. I asked those 2 about it as well. What was it like for you to get over the hump, especially an umpy team. And I said to them, like, I mean, they're as talented as anybody. Mclaughlin, I mean, you and I were talking, I mean, he is quite the scorer, and I know in that first half he played really well, but tell me what it meant for you to cut those nets down and get that NAC championship done here this year. In year 2, as we talk about, I mean, a very quick turnaround and climb and ascent for you guys.
Yeah, no, again, and it goes back to the foundation of the program and, building it, hopefully the right way, bringing the right people. And for me personally, it's a cool experience for me because, it was my first time ever cutting down a net through high school and college, so it was cool for me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, well, first of all, congratulations. I know I've said a bunch, but that's even awesome.
Yeah, so it was cool to have that experience, but I think more for the guys, as they see, hey, we could be one of the best teams in the league year to year, and it's been done before, like you said, 2010, but the program's been right there the last handful of years with Coach Leal. I believe he went to the championship 2 times and just kind of fell short a couple times, but get over that hump, confidence-wise, and I think it's just things we built all year. But to your credit, Umpy, Husson, Maine Maritime, those are some super talented teams, even other teams in our league where you have to bring it every single night. It's not an off night. You play back-to-backs, and you got to take advantage of every chance you get on the court. So I think it's, again, where our guys just felt, hey, we could be the best team out there, go in, have the great habits, and fall back on that. And, the results take care of itself. The ball's going to fall where it goes.
Yeah, and, of course, winning that championship in the NAC in that tough conference, you earned that bid into the national tournament. You played Montclair State. That win, I mean, I know for us, like, we were in our group text going nuts with Trophy. I mean, we were all like, this is awesome for you guys, because Trophy, obviously, we know has some ties.
Beaver alumni, I tell him every time.
Trophy, if you're watching this, I mean, hey, he was excited, but he was very excited. But what was that? I mean, winning the NAC is one thing, but it feels like, especially to get that win on the national stage, that was, I mean, the boys said it was monumental.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and to that point, it is something for just the program, also the league as well. I know, again, previous Husson teams, as good as they were, they've been put up against some tough teams, whether it was NYU or WPI some years or what it may be, and just to get a win for the conference was huge. Right. Going back on my stats here, I think Farmington is actually the only team in NAC history to win a national tournament game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They did it the first time in 2010. And then us the second time now. So it's cool for the league to have that and kind of a bragging point for us. Like, hey, we've been there and we've won. But no, to Montclair, it's to play a team that, style of play we haven't seen all year. Pressure 94 feet and in your face, and they're going to shoot a lot of threes, and they're a lot different than teams we've seen this year. And at one point, they were #1 team in the country, to I think they were number 10 when we played them. And going up against I guess the giant in a way, with us being Goliath. So it was kind of cool having that nothing to lose mentality. Hey, we're going to play one of the top teams in the country. We're a top team in the country. We're here for a reason. We won our league. And I told the guys, that first practice after we found out, March doesn't care, about rankings or about championships or at-large bids. Like, it's about who's going to do what they do every single day and the habits and who's going to play the best. And that's what it is. And you see it now with the national tournament going on in Division I. Yeah. The best teams are out there, and the ball's got to bounce your way sometimes. But if you can just get to the next play quicker than the other team, you're going to be a good chance to win. So, to the program, to the guys, it was, like they said, monumental of, what this program can do, and, hope we can just keep it rolling and, play more of a national level again.
Yeah, and we did talk again to Zach and Jason. Tell me a little bit about both of them, because, I mean, we were reading some of their numbers. I left it over, but it was like program record for Zach. I mean, 24 something double-doubles, like 29 games. I mean, it must be, as a coach, when you're game planning, nice. Like, I feel like it's almost like playing 2K, because you're like, oh, I got a guy who's like double-double here. I got 25 plus every night. I mean, what's it like to game plan with them? And not even just them. Gabe Michaud, right? Braden St. Pierre. You go down the list, Donlin. I mean, there's so much talent on this. What was it like for you this year to put together those game plans with this much talent?
It was very nice, to be honest with you, to go into every game confidently saying, hey, I think we have the best point guard on the court. Gabe Michaud, or the best scorer in Zach Mclaughlin, or the best motor defensive rebounder, whoever it is, in Jason Reynolds, or a backup scorer in Corey Donlin. You name it. We can go down the line with everybody. But I think it was just a very reassuring thing for me. Hey, yeah, the game's going to be hard. I think we have the better players. I think we're the more connected team. And really 1 through 17, not just those top 7, 8 guys that got a lot of minutes for us, but everyone in that locker room had a piece of what we did, whether it was in practice or scout or you name it. But definitely having those guys in our back pocket of, hey, that guy can give you 25, that guy can give you 25 and 20 any given night for rebounds, and a point guard that doesn't have to even score. He can affect the game by his assists and creation, and just falling on those guys a lot. So excited to have those guys back again and see if we can run the table again. So
Yeah, and Brady's a Gorham guy, so he's a big
Yep.
fan of Gabe. We
Yeah,
always
yeah.
kept tabs of the assist numbers, right?
Yep.
We're always laughing because it's like he didn't always put up the biggest scoring numbers, but he was all over the box
Yeah,
score, like
yeah.
every single night. So he has fingerprints all over every game, and we didn't get a chance to talk to him. So maybe tell us a little bit about him and Brady, some of those guys that we didn't get a chance to catch up
Yeah,
with
yeah. I
tonight.
mean, especially Gabe. I've always said all year. I know he doesn't get the love like Zach or Jason does,
Sure.
but he's been truly like our MVP of the year. He's offensively created a lot of different stuff for those guys. Getting Zach shots, getting Jason shots. Defensively guarding him and St. Pierre, guarding the best players on the court more times than not, no matter how big they are. So Gabe's been the on-court coach that we always need. So it's been great to have him, and St. Pierre always taking that challenge. He doesn't care if he scores. He's just going to try to guard the best player on the court at all times, and it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter if it was when we played Montclair State, they're 6'5" forward that shoots a lot of threes and averages 20 points a game, or Zevi for Yeshiva that
Good,
first
man.
team All-American,
Yeah, he was
and he quote unquote held him to 16 on a lot of shots, and then he turned around the next weekend and put up 43 against
that.
Emory. So I think him just having that challenge every night was good for him, and then other guys too, like you mentioned, Corey Donlin, serving as like that sixth starter for us was great. Guaranteeing anywhere for him 10 to 20 points a night. Having another scoring option to a Zach or Jason. Tristan Robbins filling a big role, coming off the bench as well, and other guys along the way. But having those, 7 guys, and even a guy like Charlie Houghton, from down the road, again, he had to come and fill a role for us. A 6'4", kind of versatile forward, could handle the ball a little bit when Gabe's off the floor in that maybe 30 seconds that he's off the floor. But no, all these guys have a big piece of what we did, and it's not just Zach and Jason. So. Again, it was a collective effort, 1 through 17, assistant coaches, myself, student assistants, trainers, you name it.
Yeah.
Everyone had a piece of what we did this year, and lucky enough we were injury-free for the most part, best way to put it, and then we can keep those guys on the floor, and again, the ball went through the hoop.
Yeah.
We look really good when the ball goes through the hoop. If the ball didn't and we lost a few more games, we'd be having a different conversation. But I think at the end of the day, we got a lot of work to still do for this group.
Game's pretty simple.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Just get the ball through the hoop and
hey,
you win. It's that easy.
10 feet, it's,
Right.
that's all it is.
Well, and look, I love that you brought up Charlie Houghton. I mean, I know for people in Maine, especially who watch those smaller schools at Deergo, he had like one of the biggest shots in Deergo basketball history, and they got some history. Tom Knight, with the Notre Dame was there. What has he brought to the team? Because I know, like you said, he was I know a couple games I saw, he was like a 24-point game on the road. I mean, he had some huge moments for you guys this year.
Yeah, no, he was a big piece of, especially early on and through the year, because he was, again, with this group, we were inexperienced. Like I said, we had 3 guys coming back that had meaningful college minutes, and he was a guy coming in from SMCC, that played big minutes for them his first 2 years, and coming in for us as a junior, one of our more experienced guys on the court. So really hanging on him a little bit, putting on his shoulders early, like, hey, you need to kind of be like an on-court leader. You have the most experience of anybody. And really, he had I'll be honest with him, he had an up and down year. Some games he was high, some games he was low, but he was a consistent leader for us, on the court and in the locker room too. He's very much like Zach and Jason, kind of outgoing and can be goofy a little bit. But I think the guys really, bought into his just role and, his, I guess, flavor, coming into the locker room. He's going to joke around, he's going to be serious, but at the end, he just wants to win. He doesn't care what role he's playing. And so he was a guy that, hey, state champion. That was a big thing for us this year. We kind of hung on a little bit, not just him, but all the guys having that experience playing big games. And, guys like Zach, Jason, Gabe, those guys you mentioned that have those big game experiences where, hey, we have the recipe to do it here. So.
Well, and speaking of big game experiences, the boys said that you guys like to play cribbage in the office. Braden St. Pierre apparently is the best cribbage player. Is that true, Coach? Or
I can say his record's better than mine in a head-to-head. We definitely play a lot of road trips this year. A lot of those long conference road trip games. 3 to 5 hours on a bus any given trip, and there's a lot of cribbage being played. And it's in the office. These guys will come in, just hey, you got time for a quick game, and I take them up on it. I'm a competitor. It doesn't matter if it's cornhole, cribbage, or on the court. I'm trying to win no matter what. And it's important to me, and hopefully it's important to them too. But Zach, Braden, our assistant coach, Coach Christopher, Marcus Christopher. Tristan's getting in on it. Gabe's getting in on it. So we got our little, cribbage pool going on. And I don't know what the records are because we played too many games. But it's been fun to do that. Off the court. Continue to build our relationship together and have something bigger than just hey, putting the ball through the net.
Sure.
Continue to build every single day, and cribbage has been our way to kind of bond through that. So
I love that. I was
yeah.
telling them my dad tried to get me into it as a kid. I never got into it. I regret it though because I see people always hyping it up now.
Yeah.
It's like a fun.
I'm getting other people on campus now to do. I got baseball guys coming in now, and
You guys got to get a cribbage club going.
We do.
You have one?
We don't, but we need to get. We need to get going. We need to get going.
Challenge the get all the UMaine schools to kind of get like a cribbage club, and maybe you guys can win another championship.
Maybe.
Or something,
Great.
right?
That'd be
There you
great.
go. Bring
That'd
another
be great.
title back to Farmington. Well, look, and I know we've talked a lot about the team and the growth of that. For you over these last 2 years, how do you think you've grown as a coach?
I've definitely, feel like I've gained a lot of experiences being with different guys every single day and build relationships with every single guy. That's something for me was super important from my college experience. A guy like Coach Sankola to when I was down south in Alabama and Virginia, coming back to Maine, getting a lot of different experience in a lot of different areas, whether it's offensively, defensively. But the relationship has always been the same. Hey, if you can have the most connected team or best relationship with the players, they'll do whatever you want them to do. And that's one thing I love about Division III is, hey, I don't have NIL money or scholarships hang over your head, man. You got to have a why, and you got to love the game. And again, that's where for me, I think year to year, as we did have a kind of a different roster, younger roster. So I've been trying to serve more as like a mentor and a guide for them, as my coach was for me. So between that and then also, I think personally, I think I have done a much better job on the court, being more open to different things and. Whether it's offensively, defensively, trying different stuff, see what happens, and also just being humble enough. Hey, I don't know everything.
Right.
I fall on these guys more than they know. They'll say, "Coach, we don't like that. We can't do that." Okay, we'll scrap it. We'll go to some other avenue. So I think just for me in these 2 years, just getting a little older, getting a little less on the refs has helped me a little bit too this year. Been a little less emotional with them, but I think that's one area for me too where I've grown. Just being more calm and collected for them as they look at me more. Again, them being young. They're in situations that maybe they haven't seen yet, and if I'm going crazy, they're probably going crazy. Not quite Dan Hurley now, but
Headbutting refs.
yeah. But no, I think just that kind of stuff for myself personally has been great. Taking steps there and realizing, hey, I got a lot more to learn too. I've learned from 3 great mentors, Coach Sankola, Coach Kimbrough, and Coach Furbush over at Bates. So I call those guys daily, weekly, you name it, try to pick their brain, offensively, defensively. Hey, what's going on in your program? What's going on over here? And just being open to new things has been a big thing for me because, hey, I'm always trying to learn. So.
Well, and you and I talked on my radio show, Middays with Mannix and Mannix, about this, and I'd love to bring it here to Big Time U to talk about it. Obviously, that relationship with Coach Furbush and how you guys were in the same region. That is so cool. And you and I talked about it on air, like someone who you coached with, you guys went and played in the same region. Now, of course, they weren't able to win. I talked with the boys. Hey, they didn't say anything bad about the videos, but I did say, I'm like, what was that like to watch that chaos ensue, which I'm sure you don't have to reveal the text to Coach Furbush here on this conversation because I'm sure they were, let's just say, colorful, I'd say. And by the way, I'm a full proponent. Coach Furbush, if you're going to see this, you guys got hosed. But you don't have to say that, Coach. I'll leave that to me. But I will ask, just kind of like, what was that experience like to be able to share that with someone, as you mentioned, who's kind of been a mentor throughout this process?
And you mentioned it's been special. It was a very special thing for us, to play them, less than probably a month before.
Right.
Even that game, even in here, and for that game, it was a hot start for us, and they battled back, and hopefully they won at the end of the day. But even after that game, we're sitting up here talking for 30, 45 minutes, holding their bus up, just talking family, talking basketball. So and he's another guy, again, I talk to every single day. And to have that moment with him, our shoot-around was after theirs, our practice was after theirs. So as we're kind of crossing paths, we're chatting a little bit. And then, after that game, obviously it was hard for them, but I also felt for them as well. Really wish we could have played them again to guarantee one of us to be in the Sweet 16. But, it was one of those where for that program, that roster, it was one that I got the experience of helping grow and develop and also recruit. So I felt a lot for them. But it was just really cool to share that with him. His second time in the tournament, my first, and to have us in the same region, potentially play each other again. It raised a lot of eyebrows at Montclair. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? But it would have been cool for us to play again and see with their healthy team, or our healthy team at the time, what could it be in a neutral site. We were joking, hey, let's just get on the bus, go play in Lewiston. Let's
why not, right?
Let's get home and play this in front of our fans and be a lot of fun that way. But I expect that team to bounce right back, and they have a lot of their core back as well. And hopefully we can get them at their place next time. So
Yeah, well, in D3 basketball, whether it's the NESCAC, whether it's the NAC, the LEC, CNE, I mean, GNAC, you go over the list. I mean, it's Maine, if you're a school in Maine, it's a healthy place to be right now, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
it feels
no,
like
it's,
at all.
no, and it's great. And I mean, credit to you guys a lot for, bringing a lot of attention, to those leagues and to those schools. I think Maine, outside of the professional world right now, obviously with Cooper, but,
Yeah, right.
there's a lot of great basketball, being played in Maine.
Yeah.
And I think this year really showed that. St. Joe's has been had it rolling the last few years.
Yeah.
And, Bates and Bowdoin this year had a better year.
That's right.
And,
Ray was incredible for
Ray
them
was,
this year.
yeah, he gave us some buckets here.
He was good, man.
But I think, again, if you can play, you can play. And, I think this year really showed that you don't have to be a Division I or NBA level player all the time. If, there's great basketball being played everywhere, whether it's here in Farmington or down in Standish or in Gorham at USM with Coach Coppersmith.
Yeah,
there's a lot of great basketball being played out there. So I think this was a great year just for Maine in total, and a great opportunity for people that overlook D3 or overlook some of these schools. Like initially, I don't want to go play there. It's the middle of nowhere, where it may be. It's like, hey, you got to go check them out, man. Like, these guys are the guys at their high school, and there's a lot of great teams out there, as we saw this year with Montclair, Yeshiva. Right now, the championship game being played with Emory and Mary Washington. Like, there's a lot of great basketball being played out there, and different guys from all over the country that can play. So I think it was just a great year for Maine in total. Not only on the men's side, also women's side.
Yeah, oh my
was there
God,
four teams on the women's side that made the tournament.
right.
Ours big time for there, but what was it? Bates, Bowdoin, USM.
On the Bowdoin USM, they're right down there in Brunswick.
Right.
World
right,
Gymnasium was
right.
electric. That's where we were. That place was.
Oh yeah. So I think it was
unbelievable
just a
for
great
that
year for
tournament.
Maine college basketball in general. Not just at Division I level. So it's been cool to be a part of that, to share some of these connections with some of these coaches and schools, and see if we can do it again down the road.
And you're right to point out too, because and if the selection committee's listening, please lighten up on us up here in Maine, because for all you guys got NYU on the women's side, but then Bates, I know that they had their, but then they end up with Scranton, and I'm like, Scranton and NYU, like those are like the two. I mean, you saw they ended up squaring off there, but I just kind of laughed. Like, of course, two main teams get drawn with arguably two of the best programs in the entire country. And Scranton obviously ended that 90-game win streak.
Again, to early, like I think people kind of overlook Maine.
I agree,
especially Division III level, and whether it's on the men's side, women's side, and I think there's still a lot more we got to prove. Hopefully, this year showed that hey, anyone can play, anyone can be beaten. I think that's what was really showed with the parity of Division III this year a little bit versus years prior where. Hey, there was the top 4 teams in the country, and no one's touching them. But I think this year, both sides, there's a lot of parity. So it's been cool to see that.
Yeah, it was good. And I'll leave you with this, Coach. It's been great catching up with you here on campus. How do you make sure that this is in the peak for you guys here? How do you, and I asked the same thing to Nate Carson, right? Like, what does sustained success look like, and how do you keep the motivation there and that hunger, right? Like the plate's not full still.
Yeah, no, and that's a great question. I've actually talked to some of our returners about this already, that every year is a new team. As soon as that final buzzer sounds in that final game, it's a new team. Ultimately seniors are done playing. Ultimately some guys might leave the program, and understand this is a new team, and this team hasn't done anything yet. Now it's hard to flip that switch of, all right, we just did win a conference championship. We did win a tournament game and that kind of stuff. But I think, again, that's going to push our guys to have some urgency this spring, here in April when we start our spring training, to getting better in the weight room, getting better on the court, having that hunger that I'm mentioning, but also then bring in the right guys, to not fall in line, but to add to our culture, not just fit in. I think we have some super talented incoming guys for this next class. I'm excited to see what they will bring to the table and add to what we have. But I think that's kind of the same stuff. Hey, it's your habits, your standards of your program, your whatever you're trying to accomplish. Hey, you just got to be best at that, and not make wholesale changes or anything like that. And again, having that hunger and not just walking into a gym saying, oh, we can beat this team. It's good to be confident, 100%, but you have to go earn it. You can't just walk in, hey, we won 23 games this past year, we did this and this and this. That's a different team. And as I told these guys, either we're getting better or we're getting worse. There's teams that are going to get better, there's teams that are going to get worse, and where do we fall in those two categories? So, and that's the tough part about Division III. I have no control over that for the most part.
Right.
I only get so much time to be on the court with these guys during the year. It's 19 weeks. What are they doing those other 33 weeks? Whether it's their sleep or diet that you're talking about, it could be on the court, or who's adding to their game, or who's just sitting at home, sitting on the couch and watching golf all summer. I don't know. So I think that's, again, a challenge for these guys. It's a new team. It's 200 minutes on the board for these guys to go after, and whether you played 30 minutes or 2 minutes, you know, you have a lot of time out there, and who wants to increase their role, who wants to help our team make an impact, and we're going to see, you know, next fall, see what's going on. So these guys are hungry. Talking to guys like Zach and Jason.
Oh, yeah,
and
they're starving.
Like,
They're
like
ready
you
to
said,
rock,
I mean,
man.
records broken, but hey, they want to break their own records. They want to break our team record. They want to do like, and we're going to play a much tougher schedule. I've told these guys already, we're playing, you know, a couple NESCACs. We're going to play some national competition down in Virginia this next year. We're going to play LEC ball, more than just USM. We're going to play some MASCAC schools. We're going to play CNE teams and GNAC, and we're on the road a lot. We won't have a home game till almost Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So we're going to be on the road a lot, playing some top competition, playing these top tournaments, and really seeing where we are. Because again, I think for us, we want to play at the highest level we can. You know, that's a big part of why we're here, play at the national level of, you know, Division III basketball, and you'll see what other teams are out there. So when we get in that situation again, like a Montclair or Yeshiva, we've been here before, and not having it be a surprise when we walk into a gym when, you know, they're walking out, you know, 6'3" to 6'8" in the starting lineup, and we're 6 foot on a good day. So I'm excited to see that with this group, and you mentioned like the standards and that kind of stuff, how we build on it, and you know, it's going to be a lot on the guys. You know, we're going to try to get better as a staff, myself and our assistant coaches, and try to create the best plan we can for this team going forward, and see how the ball rolls out for us. So.
I think I saw Mike Vrabel said, and I'm not a Patriots fan, full disclosure.
Come on.
I'm an Eagles guy.
Come on.
But as someone who has to cover the Patriots, just regrettably, for my day-to-day job, he said that, you know, talking about this year, that it's not about necessarily changing what they do anymore. It's about evolving. Like, okay, we have this now. How do we evolve with what we have to get better? So it sounds like that's exactly what you guys. How do you evolve into not just sustaining this, but just, you know, remaining not like, it's not about winning either, I'm sure, all the time either, but it's also the culture stuff.
Yeah, no, and to that too, again, to quote Vrabel a little bit, you know, he mentions, you know, we can all have different personalities. We can't have different mentalities. And I think that's where, again, this year and then going into next year, like, we all have one mentality, you know, to be that standard, to raise our game, to evolve, and not be the same team we are today on, you know, March 30th that we'll be, you know, next March 30th. So I'm excited. You know, it's going to be a challenge for myself and the guys, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, I got them working on, as we said, Jason's working on getting me a Beaver shirt. So when you guys see me next, I'll be in proper attire. I'll be wearing this junk.
Hey, I know there's a lot of good teams out there. You got to show, you know, your love and
we'll show
unbiased.
our love to the Huskies and all them. They know we love all them. Like Bowdoin, we give our love. But I just there's something, I mean, we got to get a shirt maybe for every college. So, but Jason said he's like doing the thrift thing. So I'm like, and look, young guys, like we were talking about, I'm 33. I can't, like the thrift stuff, I can't keep up with that. My wife is great at it, thank goodness. So Jason's going to thrift me a nice Beaver shirt, and I'll be properly dressed next time I step into Dearborn.
Love it.
Appreciate your time. Quinn Newton, head coach of the UMF men's basketball team. Thanks for everything today. It's been great talking with Jessica Dow, Nate Carson, obviously Jason and Zach, and shout out to Jason as well for setting this all up for us to do this, man. It was really fun, and we look forward to seeing you guys next year, and good luck with everything, my friend.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it again. You know, like I said, you know, whether it's on the radio show or here today, you know, just showing love to, you know, what I think is a great program on both sides, and, you know, it's programs that get overlooked a little bit, and I know we're a ways out, you know, we're far from the big city of Portland, but I think there's a lot of great basketball being played here, and, you know, a lot of Maine talent, obviously, and I think just getting them to showcase what we are, who we are, is, you know, great for the state, and you guys have done a great job all year. Not just us, but everyone throughout the state, you know, showing what great basketball there is. So I appreciate you guys coming up and spending the day with us. So.
Hey, I'm not afraid. I'm proving to everybody I'm not afraid to get out of the city.
I love it.
I live in Cape. I don't even live in the city, full disclosure. But, like, I do get out of southern Maine every once in a while. And I was telling him on the way up Brady, full disclosure, Brady, I was telling him, I go, this is Maine. Southern Maine, I'm going to start some controversy here, but, like, as someone who lives down there, like, that's basically Boston. Like, you guys,
hey,
this
I
is
play both.
Maine.
I play both. I'm originally Oxford Hills. That's where I'm originally from. And then I went to Thornton in Saco. So I got a mixture of both. I got a mixture of both.
But I mean, it is Maine, because I'm an island guy. As I said, I'm a Grundon's Boots guy. Like, I like the Hall and stuff. So my family's from Long Island out in Casco Bay. So I'm a Mainer, but, like, I'm not like the city boy, man.
I got you.
I might look like it, but
I got
you know,
you.
Coach, I promise you, I can fit in with you guys up here, I promise. Coach Quinn Newton, I'm Taylor Maddox.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Coach. We appreciate it. Stay tuned on Big Time University for more content. This is going to wrap up everything from Farmington. We appreciate you guys watching and hope you enjoyed all the content. And more to come here this spring. Thanks to Brady King as well behind the camera for getting us all set up, getting the lights and everything rolling, and producing all this stuff. So again, thanks for keeping up with Big Time University. You can follow us at big.time.u on Instagram now. Totally rebranded, so keep following us again. Thanks for tuning in.